93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. I am not Chancellor Brewington. I am Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. Chancellor should be joining us here shortly as he had a little bit of delay on his way down here. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the NBA Finals, because we've been kind of talking about this all day, trying to figure out what is this going to look like if Porzingis is back and if he's actually going to be playing 100% healthy. Well, he's back and he's playing good. Just the first quarter alone, as the Celtics already lead it by a decent margin, 11 points, 3 blocks, 4 for 5, and a plus 11 in 7 minutes and 17 seconds of game time. So that is absolutely the key matchup to watch, at least early on, because we talked about this. You can maybe get by with a guy like Al Horford. But again, if you are going to be losing a guy in Kristaps Porzingis, who's really going to be that matchup problem, because the difference between Al Horford, unless he's having a hot night, you're really not too worried about him sitting anywhere on the perimeter unless it's a corner three, and then you'll make a decent closeout. But with Porzingis, he can drag guys out there like Lively and any of those switches that the Mavericks might want to do to make their lives a little bit easier. Again, you look at the Celtics roster top to bottom, they have a bunch of guys that can hurt you in a lot of ways. Derek White, another kind of X-factor player. He's not Tatum or Brown, but certainly a guy capable of giving you a random 25 on a night. With Porzingis in the mix on top of it, you just have matchup problems everywhere. Now, Lively's been playing really good this entire series, same with Gafford, but this is kind of a new matchup. Porzingis with the Boston Celtics, despite the injuries, this has been one of his best fits, and it's really not even close. He's playing so well with this team, and a lot of it is just that offensive pressure is really taken off him, and he can operate efficiently, unlike, his time with the New York Knicks when he first got to the league, when a lot of it was, again, he was labeled the unicorn. They were hoping he was going to be this incredibly dominant player, but the reality of it is he sits a lot more efficiently when he's the second or third best guy on the team. And again, with this matchup with the Celtics, and we'll give you another quick score update here in game one. It's already 37-20 at the end of the first quarter. Some box score notes. Again, Kristaps Porzingis has definitely been that X factor for the Celtics right off the bat. Only 7 minutes to play, and he's leading the team in points right now with 11, 3 rebounds, and some blocks to go along with it. Otherwise, for the Celtics, and this is what I mean, they just got a bunch of guys that can hurt you in a bunch of different ways. Al Horford with 5, Tatum with 3, Brown with 4, White with 6, Drew Holiday with 5, Porzingis with 11, Hauser with 3. And again, you go over to the Mavericks side, it's a little bit of a different story. Not as spread out. Luka Doncic leading it with 7, and then you got 2 from PJ Washington, 2 from Gafford. Kyrie Irving only puts in 2 as well. And then off the bench, there's 6-man. They got Hardy in there. He drops 2 points as well. So again, only the first quarter, but the way the Celtics are moving right now in the ball movement they have and just top to bottom production, and the fact that Kristaps Porzingis is coming to this thing looking healthy, this doesn't bode well for the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I'm not going to write them off because this is a team that's time and time again, they've proven us, despite going up against some of the best defenses, some of the best talent, the NBA Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert, and they still proved it. You take down the number one defense with the number one defense, the Defensive Player of the Year. Not only that, you don't really make it look like it's that close of a series. Now, those games were close towards the end, but the series split would tell you the Mavericks handled business pretty handedly. And then they face the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, the Thunder, yes, they're a young team. It's a team that, just the way that narratives go, it always seems to be the thought that you need to lose before you win. And maybe that's where you are with the OKC Thunder, but still, they were the number one record in what was a absolutely loaded Western Conference. You look at the Celtics road to the East, and you look at what has just been an absolute slaughter in the Western Conference between these giants. It's been impressive. The Thunder having the number one record, despite being in the West, the best Western record, number one record is the Boston Celtics, but still to be the number one team in the Western Conference, I'm not going to take that lightly. I get it's a young team. I get it. Not a lot of people are probably expecting them to win the NBA Finals, but they flat out dominated the Oklahoma City Thunder. And a lot of that is just Jason Kidd deserves a lot of credit on figuring out these matchups. So this game, the way it's going right now, it's already the start of the second quarter, 42-26. Feels like it's pretty heavily going to keep leaning towards Boston. Now, we've seen 20-point comebacks before. It's nothing new to beat down 20 points almost already, and there's still 10 minutes left to go in the second quarter is a little bit insane. So the Mavericks, odds are they're not going to be able to pull out from this one, but you don't give up hope, because what I'm saying with Jason Kidd in these matchups, despite going up against these great defenses, is they're really good at making these chess piece moves. Jason Kidd throughout these entire playoffs has the Mavericks sneakily climbed all the way to the NBA Finals. Because I think a lot of people, when we talked about the NBA Finals, you were looking obviously at the reigning champs, the Denver Nuggets. Then you were moving on. Maybe if you were hot on the Phoenix Suns, you thought they'd be able to figure it out. Clippers were definitely a team a lot of people are looking at. The Mavericks was that last team with actual, what I should say, consistent superstars. That was always kind of the last one brought up. And you give a lot of credit to Jason Kidd for figuring out how to get this team to click. Not only that, you figure out a way to unlock Kyrie Irving after years of just, I don't want to say misunderstood, because some of the comments you would have towards the press, you're going to get criticism for it. I mean, that's why you have those PR lessons to understand. There's things you say that are 100%, you're going to get criticism for it. And that's just how the league works. He brought some of that attention to himself. Now, with that being said, all at the same time, what they were able to figure out with the Mavericks. I don't know what the key to their secret is, but they found a way to really have a good mutual respect between Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, head coach Jason Kidd, all the way up through management. And, LeBron even talked about it. He's happy for Kyrie Irving, stated that he misses the time they had up in Cleveland, obviously, but it is awesome to see this version of Kyrie Irving. Now, there's also a chance that we might see another Kyrie Irving moment. Give it a little bit more time. I think we're kind of done with a lot of that stuff, but this is going to be a high sense situation. You're going up against the Boston Celtics, your former team. Does he have a moment where he tries to take over a game? Kind of almost like hindsight being a little bit of PTSD with LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, is he really going to be okay being that number 2 guy? Odds are I would say yes, he absolutely is. But there could be a game where we see Kyrie Irving, maybe even tonight, where he completely tries to take over because this team just isn't competing right now as it sits 27-44. But it's going to be fun to watch. I think as far as the NBA Finals goes, we're in a unique era where you're not seeing a lot of parity. I mean, that has kind of been a staple of the NBA is who is the next giant that needs to be taken down. In my era, it was obviously the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors, back and forth year after year after year. LeBron James and the Splash Brothers. And then eventually Kevin Durant says, you know what? I'm just going to try to get myself a ring. He successfully does it. He goes to the Warriors. But you saw that parity nonstop. And then you go through these recent NBA finals, that parity seems to be going away. And I'm not really sure if I fully understand the reason as to why, if it's just the constant exponential growth of the volatility of the 3-point shot. I mean, we could just keep shooting more and more threes. We get more efficient. But at the same time, you're going to have those awful nights where despite having a great 3-point shooting resume, you're going to have those nights where it's just not going in. And that's where we entered this unique part of the league today where a lot of people flat out hate it. They flat out hate it because if your team's up by 20, sometimes it feels like it doesn't even matter because it's just revolving around the 3-point line the entire damn game. And I say this because sometimes I do get upset when I see easy matchups in the block that they don't want to take advantage of. When I see an Anthony Davis refusing to play around the rim, when I see the Karl Anthony Towns who found their way out the door personally, and I think because he wasn't being big enough inside, wanted to keep shooting threes, the mid-range jumpers. Sometimes you need to get back to that old school ball. That's why I have incredible respect for a guy like Jokic, because guess what? He can shoot the 3, but it's his last option. It feels like it's his last resort every single time because it's a lot more effective to go inside. It's a lot more demoralizing to go inside and just completely dominate a team. And not only that, you're in a better position for rebounds. You're in a better position for just a lot of other things. So we're in this era with the volatility of the 3. I think it's affecting the parity we're seeing in NBA finals. I think it's affecting to the constant blowouts where you have a Denver Nuggets team who's leading by 20 points in game 7 versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. But even that isn't enough. Not even close to being enough because the Timberwolves put on an insane run by hitting insane shots, a lot of 3-pointers. Of course, a Rudy Gobert turnaround fade, which I think that might be the only time he ever hit that shot. So that, again, that's just kind of the perfect storm. And it kind of ties into the 3-point line and the volatility behind it. But that's a lot of the problems. And I talked about this with the Morning Personnel. I think that's a lot of what we're seeing in USA basketball too that's giving us a lot of our problems. Because we are good when we're hitting shots. But then you go look over at European ball. I still think US has better athletes. We have more guys that are invested in playing the sport at a young age. Yes, they get to go pro earlier, but now we have the G League here. You can make an argument that's somewhat like a pro level league. But you go to Europe, and one thing that always sticks out, and especially when you get to Olympics, and we're going to have a good example of it this year when they play in Paris, is the ball movement. The U.S. is always towards the bottom when it comes to ball movement. When you look at it after the Olympics is done, who's the second worst typically is Canada. Why? Because they're neighbors to the U.S. They play a lot of the same style ball. It's that kind of AAU style, a lot more isolation, a lot less ball movement. And guess what? When you go overseas, that stuff doesn't work. When you're relying on your best athletes to just make 3 after 3 after 3, and the ball movement isn't as important, you're going to lose a lot of these games, especially when you go over to the Olympics. So it's an interesting situation that we kind of find ourselves in. And we're talking about the Mavericks and the Celtics right now. Luka might be, once again, another foreign player, could be the NBA Finals MVP. And it just definitely says that we're in a changing time when it comes to the NBA and when it comes to European style basketball. You can really credit Greg Popovich this early in the Spurs days, because Greg Popovich actually took some time before anybody was really doing it. Let's go watch some basketball games over in Europe. What is these guys doing different that maybe I can take a few notes from? And the first thing he noticed was the ball movement. And it's no question, it's undoubtedly a way bigger part of the game. Less dribbling, more passing. You don't need to waste energy. You don't need to stall offenses. Keep the ball moving. And when you watch a lot of these foreign players, especially at the center position, because as I was talking with DeMornay Pearsonell, when you have an elite playmaker, and I'll use Jokic again because he's just such an easy example. When you have an elite playmaker at the center position, it is destroying defenses. When you can have a big 7-footer or even 6'10", 6'11", a guy that can put the ball on the deck, keep his eyes up and see what the next pass should be, and be comfortable running the offense the same way your point guard is, that can absolutely break teams. And that is a huge reason for the Denver Nuggets' success as of late, is they just have that elite playmaking ability at a center position. And I think that's probably why you see, a lot of these foreign players that typically come to the U.S. and do really well tend to be more towards that center position. Because again, I will say, I think when it comes to just athleticism, based on the pure number of guys we have playing basketball here in the U.S., I still think we have the edge on that. But when it comes to the real fundamentals and the ball movement, it's something that Europe has kind of had the edge on the U.S. for a while. And especially now as we're moving away from a quote-unquote defensive-minded league, it's a lot more catered to the offense. The rules indicate that. You see all these rules that got made up in these past couple decades. A lot of it's to cater towards the offense, some of it to help the defense, but most of it offensively. That's going to help those foreign players a lot more, in my opinion. Now, you could make the case that defense in Europe is even tougher than here in the U.S., but if you can use your athleticism and physicality to just kind of bully and push teams around, even if, quote-unquote, skill-wise, you're not the better team, we've seen it. I mean, if you played sports before, you know what it's like to go against a team or even an individual who is just more athletic, stronger, faster, quicker than you in about every capacity. And when they can just muscle you, you really don't stand a chance. But if you change the rules to where they can't really touch you, if they do, it's going to be fouls, it's going to be easy points, you can't stand a chance. If your skill set is a little bit better, if you have a little bit more suave to your game, whatever the hell you want to call it, that's going to play a major benefit to you. So I think part of it is the playmaking over in Europe has always been there. The lack of physicality in the U.S. has allowed some of those players to really, really start dominating at an unprecedented level. I mean, Luka's numbers are insane. And I do think we forget how good Luka Doncic is because we have this plethora of great players around the league now. But Luka, despite his age, is already putting in insane numbers. His totals for rebounds, points, assists, turnover to assist ratio, they're all incredible. And I don't think this trend's going away anytime soon. I think we'll see more foreign players. I think it really has to do something with USA basketball and how, in terms of we organize AAU and putting more emphasis on the ball movement. But that's kind of the problem with the whole AAU circuit too, is a lot of the kids around that stuff, it's to what's the next step? I play AAU. I made it on the best AAU team. Okay, now I'm trying to get into college. What are my college offers? It's me, which, I'm not going to blame the kid for that. Of course, you want to make sure you find the best college that's going to give you the best chance to go to the NBA. But sometimes you also get bad coaches in the AAU that just want to win games. They're not really thinking about the long-term development of a player. They'd rather just try to get wins, have their best players take all the shots or majority of the shots. And that's where you get that ISO ball from. And I do think that is a problem with AAU. Now, a lot of AAU coaches in basketball, I'm sure they're great coaches. They have the best intentions and they probably do coach them up well, stress the right things to make sure they're ready to make that next leap to college, to maybe the G League, maybe to the NBA, or even overseas in another pro league over there. But I think it's pretty clear to me that at least a lot of these AAU camps, the way we organize this basketball, the way here in the U.S., less emphasis on ball movement, more emphasis on just straight up scoring, regardless of who does it. I think that's kind of where we fall into this pitfall. So this trend, it's not going to go anyway anytime soon, in my opinion. We're probably going to see more elite foreign players, especially as you see Giannis, you see Luka, you see Jokic. There's some real superstars that kids over in Europe are going to be inspired by. To watch these guys, see how they did it, and really looking at the MVPs, if you're a kid in Serbia, why wouldn't you think you can go play in the NBA? You just watch a guy, Jokic, win 3 in 4 years. So that opens the mind, I think, of a lot of kids out there. They have, quote unquote, real stars, hero, whatever you want to call them, role models they follow. And I think the gates are going to be opened here. And we're going to see more and more great European players come to the NBA. And, I see it as a good thing. I think it's a good way to continue to evolve the game, kind of get back to a little more of just the true X's and O's of basketball and less volatility of the 3-point line, where it feels like that's every game you watch now is who's making the threes tonight. It's Celtics. Celtics are going to win tonight. Vice versa. Is it the Mavericks? Okay, Mavericks are going to win tonight. I think that's where a lot of people kind of get tired of the NBA, is the lack of defense. Not that the players aren't playing defense, they're just simply the rules they have. If they want to play outrageously good defense, there's a good chance they find themselves in foul trouble in the second half as well. So I never want to say these players aren't trying, they're not playing hard defense, because that's never the case. Watch a game, look at how much they move on the defensive side of the court. It's not an effort thing. It's not even close to an effort thing. Maybe for some players, but by large and whole, it's not an effort thing. It's more just the way the game's officiated now. And it certainly helps out players that are more skill set minded than athletically gifted. And I think we're seeing a lot of these European players find their success there. And obviously you're going to have the freak athletes too. Giannis Antetokounmpo is called the Greek freak for a reason. Some of these guys are going to come out of the woodwork, and it's going to be no question that they are just athletic specimens in the NBA. And that's kind of where we're at with Giannis. We got one text here from Jordan P. before we go to break. He said it's the 90-10 rule. In American, we play games 90% of the time and practice 10% of the time. In Europe, they do the opposite. So they are far more skilled. And there is a good argument for that, right? Because in America, we play games 90% of the time and practice 10%. I sometimes wonder if it's not that playing games is a bad thing, but it's how are you officiating those games? Are you stopping the games in between time as soon as you see a mistake? I don't know if it's necessarily the coaching as much as it is just the deeply rooted culture of kind of how these circuits work around the USA. It's a fair point to bring up, and you could absolutely be right about it. But I do know this thing. When we get to the Olympics this year, we'll have another good litmus test to see where does the USA really rank? Because if we have time for it, maybe talk a little bit about it on the other side as well. This is going to be another quote unquote juggernaut team we're trying to throw at the world. Our pride's been stolen for USA basketball. You have USA track athletes calling out the NBA, for saying NBA champions of the world when he says champions of what? It's just the US league. All that being said, there's going to be a lot of narratives heading into this thing. There's going to be a lot of pride in it for the USA to try to steal back that glory. But again, as I'm watching all these foreign players, I'm watching the style of play, and I'm watching how that's so effective in today's era. I can't sign off that the U.S. is going to roll through this thing despite putting together what is another elite team, one of the more elite teams they've had in recent years. So it's going to be something to watch. Definitely watch. And again, keep an eye on the ball movement. And maybe this is a year where it's different and the ball movement is better for USA basketball. But to me, it's as simple as that. That's what the numbers show, especially when we get to the 2000s and we start losing a lot of these games. It's the passing. There's not enough ball movement. And you get to these foreign teams, guess what? You don't have to be the best athlete out there if you know how to move the ball well and throw off defenses and get yourself a wide open look. You don't have to be the most athletic guy to do that. And that's how you see a lot of these smaller countries, smaller national teams that don't have nearly as much depth to pick from still find ways to knock off juggernauts. With that being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break. Hopefully on the other side here, we can get Chancellor Brewington, but if not, I'll hold you through all the way to the top of the hour. And after that, we will have DP one-on-one. He will be bringing on David Turcotte once again. If you haven't listened to Turcotte before, he's got fantastic stories, especially since I'm bringing up international basketball. He obviously played for Canada. He's got a lot of cool stories as well. So be sure to stick around for that one. That will be at 9 o'clock all the way till 10. So we'll throw it to break. Don't go anywhere. This is currently What's Brewing with Harrison Arns on 93.7 The Ticket.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs. 93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. The host is back. He's to my left. Chancellor, how's it going on this Wednesday night, man?
Oh my goodness.
Or Thursday.
Well, I was just fighting. I was fighting a real battle, an internal battle with my allergies. I don't know what was going on today. I don't know if this is consistent across the way, like a lot of people are experiencing this, but
I think probably, right? Think about all the rain we've gotten, all the moisture we've gotten, and then all of a sudden we get some serious heat and some serious sunlight.
Right.
All that, whatever's in the ground, everything that you're allergic to is sprouting up right now.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm here. I had to go and get some shades. I'm being serious. I had to bring some shades in because my eyes are bloodshot and I would not want anyone thinking something else was going on. So
yeah, I don't blame you. I struggle with that immensely, especially when we get times of allergy years.
Right.
And I think I told the story once. I was at Hy-Vee and it was just a nightmare. This guy would not leave me alone. He's like, "Hey man, I'm like, no, I'm trying to put milk on the shelf and get paid minimum wage, dude." Like,
look, brother, I was going through it. Like, you know them sneezes where you sneeze like 20 times.
Oh, those are almost
in
painful.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting them, and then like you touch your eyes, and then you can't stop itching them, and then so I was going through it, but
you're here.
I'm here. I fought through it. It's all about resiliency. It's all about showing up. It's all about that Nebraska grit. But no. I'm not sure what we was talking about, but
I went over a lot of NBA finals talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Not looking great if you're a Mavericks fan.
I love it. I love it. Well,
who are you going for in this one before I give the score?
Mavs.
Oh, well, you're not gonna be happy.
Okay, it's okay. They're at the Garden, right?
42-63.
They're at the Garden.
Yeah, they're at the Garden.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Porzingis has been an animal though. Could be concerning.
It's okay. Luka will get him next game. But to bring it back to shift gears real quick, because I had like a thought this morning, and it was all about just like finding yourself, but also like finding out what you're passionate about. And I think that's kind of what we miss sometimes. We go to work and we have jobs that aren't in our purpose, right? And having a job and working for your purpose are two different things, right? So finding out what your purpose is, finding out who you are. And Harrison, we talked about this before, where you are from.
Dude, that's my favorite quote from Kid Cudi.
Yeah, finding out where you're from.
Yeah, people I met, places I've been, all who make me the man I so proudly am.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? And you can get as deep as you want. If your eyes are opened up all the way, you can take it there. If your eyes aren't, you can just, say I'm from Kinston, North Carolina, like I am. But yeah, I'm the one thing I'm passionate about right now. And one thing I'm passionate about is the Bible. That's one thing I'm passionate about. And and my eyes are open and I'm viewing it from a different way. And I'm seeing that the Bible is all about a king, that would be Jesus, his kingdom, and a royal family, which is us human beings on earth. And it's an encouraging and it's an empowering book if you have the lenses and the eyes to see it. And the message of the kingdom is simply this: God created Adam and Eve. We all know the story. He created Adam and Eve, and they went and did their thing in the garden and forfeited their relationship and their fellowship with God, right? Or creator. We can just call him creator. With creator. Now, this man named Jesus comes, fully man, fully God, comes and dies on a cross for our sins, but also to give us relationship and to give us dominion, the dominion that Adam and Eve lost. They lost the kingdom. They lost the presence of God. They lost relationship with God. Now we get that back here on earth, and we're supposed to bring heaven to earth. And that's the message of the kingdom. And a lot of people are missing out on it, maybe because they just don't know or no one's ever taught them. But That's something I'm passionate about. And not to get preachy, because it's not there was no religion in that. I didn't mention Christianity, Catholic, none of that. There's no religion in that. It's simply just a king, his kingdom, and a royal family. But I'm sure we'll be able to talk more about that on the show with Coach Ron Brown, where we talk strictly about faith. But this is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington. We're talking a little bit NBA Finals.
Real quick, I want to give you a shout out. I was really trying the method of trying to switch things positively when it's negatively. Dude, that thing works like crazy.
Hey,
it really does.
Let's go.
Because I remember I was like getting ready, I was showering, and I had to come to work extra early today. And I was like, oh man, I got way earlier than I really want to be. And I was like, man, I got to do like really cool job that a lot of people would just be so lucky to be able to do. And I was like, I get to be able to go do this.
Right.
Dude, it was like that.
Like that.
It's insane.
Turn a negative to a positive.
Yeah, I'll give you credit for that. It really does work.
Let's go. I can't take credit for it. It's the book I'm reading called Awaken the Giant Within, written by the author is Tony Robbins. He has another I forget the book. He has another book that is along the same lines of just changing the way you think and things like that. But what's the acronym? Yep, acronym that he uses is CANI. It stands for constant and never ending improvement. So that's and the Japanese have a word like that. I don't know it. If you know Japanese, you can send it in. But I'm not even going to try to attempt it. It's something with a K. It's like Korina or something like that, right? I just butchered that. But the word basically means like constant and never-ending improvement. But the English language does not have a word like that. It does not have a word like that. So
language is interesting like that.
Yeah, it's funny.
You realize that there's there's words that we can't describe in our language, but you can.
Exactly.
It's fascinating. I'm not like a language buff, but I can see how people get into it.
Yeah, like when you look at Hebrew, they have strokes. So their language is out of stroke. So like the word like we have like the word love. Well, in Hebrew, their love could mean like 7 different things, which is crazy. Our language is so it's not very complex when you look at other languages.
No, ours is cut and dry.
Yeah.
Know the rules. Even if they don't make sense, that's the rule.
And then we got slang on top of it. Slang from different regions of the world. Isn't that crazy? You got West slang, up North slang, South slang, East slang, and then each state has some slang. It's pretty
That's why I love the USA.
Gotta love
melting pot.
Gotta love the states.
Yeah, I do.
Gotta love the states. I'm blessed to be in a country like this. My goodness, where you could just come on air and speak about whatever you want to. Well, I mean, hold on, not whatever. I mean, kind of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's rules. You can say whatever you want. There's punishments,
right.
Of course,
you can say whatever you want,
but there's a platform for you to at least even attempt.
Hey, you might get handcuffed outside. Right. But no, there's the freedom of speech is something amazing and something that I do not take for granted. I'm blessed to be in a country
no
like
way.
this.
Shout out 0008. Might be saying this wrong. Kazan.
There's no way he just got that word. That's it.
Constant improvement.
That's it.
Kazan.
There's no way. I have to look this up.
0008. Shout out to you guys.
That was amazing. That was the best text I've ever gotten in my whole life. Oh my gosh.
It's impressive to have Japanese in your back pocket.
Kazan. No, that's literally it. I saw it in a book. Oh my gosh. I butchered that though. That was so bad.
You didn't say K. You got the first letter right.
I butchered that so bad. But no, that's awesome. Constant, never-ending improvement. And they use that for all types of and if he's a native at this language, I might butcher this part, but this is what the book said. The book said that they use that word for a plethora of things. They use that word for relationships, for family, for wealth, for business, for health, for exercise. They use that word for everything. So it doesn't just involve in mental health, emotional health. It goes for everything.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Constant improvement. That should apply to every part of your life.
Yeah. So
sneak that one into our language here.
I know, right?
That's a good one.
We can make a word here on What's Brewing. I don't know what we would call it, but yeah, no, that's awesome. That was an awesome text. Shout out to the starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685.
Perfect.
Sound like Harrison. My goodness.
Yeah, and then let's see here. We are coming up to a break here. Where do you want to go? We can tease it here on this side. You want to go NBA Finals? There's plenty of stories with WNBA. WNBA has been crazy. It's been entertaining. It's moving the needle. They're getting paid, so that's always good.
I think we should go WNBA. I think we should finish off with a little bit of Husker football.
Okay. Shout out to Adrian Martinez too.
Oh, my dog Adrian. My dog Adrian.
And there's a couple other guys.
I threw it him before camp. Before he went out there, I said, "This boy looked real good. This boy looked real good," and he did. So shout out to them.
Carlos Davis and Jordan Ober as well. 3 former Huskers were named to the
go.
All UFL team.
Let's go.
Adrian, number 1 QB in that too.
Hey, there's only 1 QB, baby.
Yeah, shout out to Adrian. I mean, we'll throw it the break here, but I mean, you've seen it. Obviously, I've seen him from afar. A guy that battled injury after injury, goes to Kansas State. It's awesome. It's working. Injury. It's just nice to see it go right for him.
Right.
Because I think most people, you watch him, it's like, okay, he's got the talent. Like, he's clearly really good. It's just you want him to stay healthy. So shout out to Adrian Martinez and obviously all the other Huskers that got named to that team. It's awesome. And, who knows, for Adrian Martinez, it's going to open up a lot of doors for him. So who knows where his next chapter might end up being.
Yeah, he gonna go do big things. But yeah, we'll get back to all that stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll throw it the break. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington? We'll talk to you on the other side.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line. Here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. we will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, wrapping things up here. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington, the host to my left. Last time to hop in on the show, 402-464-5685. On again, Face to the Voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo, Channel 961. But Chancellor, I asked about you. You want to dive a little bit into the WNBA.
Let's hear it.
All right, are you familiar with the Kennedy Carter situation?
I'm not, so this will be a refresher for me.
Okay,
and
so
this will be a real first take.
All right, so Cliff Notes version. You remember the Caitlin Clark getting kind of knocked? It turned out to be a flagrant foul later.
Okay,
a lot of people are calling it a dirty play.
You got the Indiana governor wanting to do some investigation on it.
My lord, paying people to do that.
Got you.
But okay, so yeah, so then obviously Kennedy Carter, she kind of doubles down with some comments like all she does is shoot threes. Kind of that rivalry's heating up. And apparently off the bus, she was harassed. Now, nothing too crazy, but enough to where security had to get involved and get people out of the way.
Okay, some vulgar name calling, probably.
Vulgar name calling. Who knows? Maybe trying to reach and grab, push.
Maybe a throw of like a Pepsi can.
Yes.
Okay.
But security is able to take care of it. And I'm just kind of grossed out by the fans at that point. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, these players are going to be competitive.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Right.
Like, be real with yourself. Say you did it. You're this girl and you balled out your entire life and you finally make it to the echelons of the best women's basketball players in the world. And nobody talks about you and they only talk about one girl. Now, obviously, a lot of these girls, they do get talked about, but to the extent of Caitlin Clark, it's not even close. They're going to be competitive. They're not punching her in the face. They're just playing basketball and want to beat her really bad.
Right. And then
crazy?
The fans take it to a whole nother level.
Oh, man. It's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that. The fact that a fan would take that for us is unexcusable.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. I don't fully understand. And, I was telling this to Morning Pearson now, you can look at Michael Jordan. Now, everyone take a deep breath. I'm not saying Caitlin Clark's the next Michael Jordan of the WNBA.
Hey, she might be.
She might be, but we don't know yet. The story is yet to be written. But the thing about Jordan was, when he was, be like Mike, Gatorade commercials, Air Jordan.
Right.
Why do you think the Jordan rules were a thing? Not only to beat him, because that was competitive. They really wanted to beat him.
Right.
And they're really do some dirty things to try to take him down, way more to the extent of what we're seeing in the WNBA right now. So I think it's just kind of a natural competitor's experience. And I think it moves the needle. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
This is the thing with social media. You're always going to have a group of people that take things to the extreme and really act out some comments that are seen. And because at the end of the day, everyone's just not in their right mind. Not everyone is just sound individuals,
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of the chain or the ball with that's the ball with social media is that you get some funny interactions, maybe calling Angel Reese this, calling Caitlin Clark this, but then there's some people that really take those things to heart and really I feel the need to act on it. And especially with Angel Reese being African American and Caitlin Clark being white, there are some more people just start to add in tension where there was never any. And that's unfortunate for a player because I've received some hate messages that people wish that I'd because I said something on What's the Word one time, and I probably shouldn't have said it. I said something along the lines of, I wish that
I know exactly which episode this is.
No. I said, bro. I said, I don't understand why. This was my first year here. I said, I don't understand why the Nebraska fans feels like they are part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And people lost their mind. I was on Reddit pages. I was on Twitter. I was on Instagram. I was on everything, and people lost their mind. So the point of the story is, first of all, young athletes out there, I don't know if you can phone a friend for them, but don't say things on air that will that you don't know the full context behind and that you just talking about.
Mhm.
Don't do that. Yeah.
I remember I grimaced a little bit. I didn't know you too well yet, but I was like, I know how this is gonna go. It's like, 'cause I knew where you were coming from.
Right. I just worded it terribly.
But yeah, without the context and the short quote, it's gonna kill you. And that's what you see happen to these pro players all the time.
Yeah.
All the damn time.
And then you watch the full interview. Maybe if you watch my whole segment, I probably followed it up with, blank, 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 but I understand that this is, the N represents Nebraska. Like, I probably followed it up with
the
that.
episodes previous talked about how much you love Husker Nation, how it's one of the best fan bases.
Exactly. So, and I fully understand that. I mean, I watch a lot of pastor sermons, and a lot of people take sermons out of context, and then they take like a 1 second clip or 30-second clip, and then the whole 2 hours was completely different. So it's the same thing with these quotes. But back to the Caitlin Clark situation. Some fans are just going to take it out of control, and it's unfortunate because she balling right now. She averaging like 17 points.
Yeah.
Like, she just had 30 the other night.
Yeah.
And Angel Reese is averaging a double-double.
Yeah, this is
breaking
crazy.
records. Like, come on. Like, they're doing great things for WNBA. They are the faces of WNBA. I personally, Chancellor Brewington, cannot name 2 other players in the WNBA. I only know Caitlin Clark. Oh, I do know
Plum. Probably Kelsey Plum, I'd imagine.
Okay, yeah.
That's the one that's
just because, oh boy, though.
Stewart, maybe?
No. That's because Darren Waller.
Oh, okay.
They were married.
Yeah.
And then did you see Darren Waller put out a music video?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I got some research tonight.
Well,
Darren
Waller and Kelsey Plum was married. And Darren Waller put out a music video. And I'm not hating on Darren Waller. I'm not hating. He used to, obviously have his battles with addiction and stuff like that, with drug abuse. And the fact that he's conquered that, shout out, salute to you, my boy. And I think the music thing is a way for him to express his emotions and feelings instead of using drugs. So I commend him for that. But he put out a music video after they got divorced, and there's like a doppelganger, Kelsey Plum.
Yeah, there you go.
And she, in the music video, she like stabs him in the back, and like he falls on the face of the sand, and like water hits him in the face.
Oh man.
It's like a super intense music video, but like it was like a week after they announced the divorce. So it was just like super.
Definitely hit the media. Though.
Yeah. Oh, it went crazy. Could you imagine the comments on there?
How'd I miss that?
Yeah, I don't know how you missed that. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't know. Maybe I was.
But other than Kelsey Plum, I think what's her face? Alvin Kamara had a girlfriend that is on.
I'm bad when it comes to relationships on like who's dating who when it comes to star athletes because it changes a lot.
Yeah. Something. Tay Cooper. She's a guard. She's a guard. I know those are the only 4 I know.
Yeah, but you're just stating the facts. Like, you're being honest, and that's
right.
It is that's how most people are right now.
Right.
Like, they're tuning into the WNBA for the first time, and it's probably a lot of great players in the past, but there's a lot of really fun, exciting players. And you even look at the NBA, it's always what's the next new shiny toy.
Right.
LeBron James is in the league. People still want to, Luka, everybody, like, it just always happens that way. So it's interesting. I think this narrative is going to be going on for a long time. Still, I don't think this is going away anytime soon. I think we're going to hear about this for the entirety of the WNBA season. But if you're a WNBA player, at least it moves the needle. You're going to make a lot more money. Make more money, help out those contracts. And again, you get more faces on the league. And if you're good enough, people are going to watch. At least that much has been proven. With that being said, we'll wrap it up here. What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington? But don't go anywhere because we got one-on-one with DP.
Oh, yeah.
And Dave Turcotte up next. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Let's go.